shown in 6.2. So it's here below. The matrix form of the two equivalent systems are shown in figure 6.1 and figure 6.2 for equation 6.1 and 6.2 respectively. So we have here our example of three equations, then converted into its matrix form. Then our for the Gauss Jordan elimination, to normalize and eliminate the other values, which ang mabilin is kaning diagonal in the form nga mag 1 sila, and the other values above and below those ones are zeros. And ang mabilin ang nga values, there is a constants that will be the answer or the equivalent values of your variables. So the pivot equation is normalized by dividing the entire equation with the coefficient of the pivot element. This will make the pivot coefficient be equal to 1. Afterwards, the normalized pivot equation is used to eliminate the coefficients of the equations above and below the pivot equation. Doing this process starting from the first row as the first pivot equation downward to the last row will result to figure 6.2 above. So the coefficients of matrix B prime are the solutions of the system of equations. So we will have an example of how to solve systems of equations using the Gauss Jordan elimination method. So for this example, we have a four equation. So for example, we have a four equation and yeah, ganito na nato siya into its matrix form. So for example, mo na ni siya. So we have four equations. So we have a 4 by 4 matrix. Four equations and four unknowns. And the constant on this side. So what we will do, okay, so first, we need to have our M, which we will use to solve later. So kani, we have our M21, which we will be using in row 2, and M31, we'll use that in row 3, and M41 for row 4. So M21, that is just A21 over A11, so that means the element in row 2, column 1, divided by the element in row 1, column 1. So, kada siya. So, this value for M21 is 27 over 1, so 27. So, you have here your M21, it's 27. Then, so M31 is A31 over A11, so that's the element in row 3, column 1, divided by A11. So, negative 8 over 1. So, your M31 is negative 8. And M41 is the element in A41 over A11. That's 8 divided by 1. So your M41 is 8. Then, gikopy lang ang matrix sa babaw. So that's the same values. And what we will do, we will eliminate the values here. Since 1 naman na ato ang first here. So it is already 1. Anita sa ubos. We have to eliminate. So dapat ma-0 din sila. Okay. So kadi. Muna ang result. So kada siya, you will do is this element in A21. So kada siya. Kani 27 minus the M for this row. That's 27 times Kani gikan sa row 1. So it's 1. So 27 minus 27 times 1 is 0. So na 0 na siya. And dire pod, ani sunod nga element in row 2. So from here, second na ta nga element in row 2, 9 minus ang m sa row 2 nga atong gigamit times 1. Kanang tungod niya sa taas. So, 9 minus 27 times 1. Negative 18. The next, kani second, third na element sa row 2. So, 3 minus 27 times 1. So, mo ni siyang negative 24. And the fourth one, 1 minus 27 times 1. So, equals negative 26. And appeal constants. So, 16 minus 27 times 8. So, negative 200. Okay. So, para siya. And for the third row na punta. So, dapat ma-eliminate ni first. So, the same pattern lang. Kani, the element sa third row. So, start with the first one. Negative 18 minus ang m na itong gamitin sa third row. Negative 8. Negative 8 here. Negative 8 minus negative 8 times element sa row 1. So, 1. Negative 8 minus negative 8 times 1, 0. Then, second element for row 3. 4 minus negative 8 times 1, so 12. And then the third, negative 2 minus negative 8 times 1, so 6. And the fourth, 1 minus negative 8 times 1, so 9. And then, so negative 4 minus negative 8 times 8, so 60. Okay, and the fourth column, fourth row na punta. Negative 8, 8 minus, ang m na to, 8 times sa row 1, 1. So, 8 minus 8 times 1, 0. Second element in row 4, 4 minus 8 times 1, negative 4. And then 2 minus 8 times 1, negative 6. Then 1 minus 8 times 1, negative 7. And lastly, 8 minus 8 times 8, negative 56. Okay? Sumoto siya ang iyahang pattern in solving. Hello? Okay. So, proceed na po ta. So, here. So, next, ani na po ta sa third row. So, ito. So, there na po. So, you have here your M32 and M42. So, M32 is equals to the element in A32 over A22. So, ano na ta? Gikan sa katong last na nato nga matrix katong na eliminate or na normalize na. So the A32 dire is 12 over A22 is negative 18. So we have here our M32, negative 2/3. So, and then M42 is equals to the element in A42 over A22. So there is at the previous na matrix that is M4 over negative 18. So our M here is 2 over 9 for M42. So muna siya itong M na po nga gamiton for this matrix. So we have to eliminate this 2. Again, pa-diagonal ta. Kaning atong goal. Kani pa-diagonal. Kana. Diagonal. So, kani mga values dire below na 0 sila. Okay. So, let's proceed here. So, ani na punta sa third row. So, good. So, you can just copy the first 2 row. The values in the first 2 row. It's the same. And dire. So, using the equation, anita, 0 naman eh. So, mag-0 na sila. 0 na yung first 2 elements in the row 3 and 4. So, anita sugod sa 12. 12 minus the m is negative 2 over 3 times kaning nasa row 2 na punta. Ayan na punta. So, 12 minus 2/3 times negative 18. So, ma-0 na siya. Then, third one, 6 minus negative 2/3 times negative 24. You have negative 10. Then 9 minus negative 2/3 times negative 26. You have negative 25 over 3. Then 60 minus negative 2/3 times negative 200. You have negative 220 over 3. So that's for the third row. So, ano po tayo sa fourth row? So, let's start here. So, 0 naman yung first nga element sa fourth row. So, ano ito? So, good. Negative 4 minus 2 over 9 times negative 18. So, ma-0 siya. Kani, negative 6 minus 2 over 9 times negative 24. It's negative 2 over 3. Then negative 7 minus 2 over 9 times negative 26. So negative 11 over 9. And this one, negative 56 minus 2 over 9 times negative 200. So negative 104 over 9. Okay, so muna siya ang result. So after this, so last na ta. So kani, we need to have our M na pod for the last row. So last row na ta. So if we have here M43. Okay, so kada siya, that is the element in kaning A43. 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 A43 over A33. Okay. A33 na siya. So, kani, A from the previous nga, or last na to nga matrix. So, A43 is negative 2/3 over A33 is negative 10. So, you have your M43, 1 over 15. So, dapat diri ni siya. So, diri na to i-times na. Kanang 1 over 15. Claro. So you have your 1 over 15. Ito siya. So, dirita, let's continue. Dire, i-copy lang ning first 3 ka row. So, okay na siya. Dire, copy na to ang first 3 ka row. So, alit sa fourth row. So, the first 2 elements, 0 na siya. Okay, 0. So, alit so good. Negative 2 over 3 minus 1 over 15 times negative 10. So, mag-0 na siya. Then, negative 11 over 9 minus 1 over 15 times negative 25 over 3, negative 2/3. And last, negative 104 over 9 minus 1 over 15 times negative 220 over 3. So you have negative 20 over 3. Okay, so you have noticed kana pa diagonal na 0 na ang mga values diri sa ubos. So, di ba, if kana lang, you can already solve values. So, if we have our variables A, B, C, D for these equations, for equations, and then ang atoang variables are A, B, C, D, and these are the constant, we can already solve. So, alita so good sa last nga row. So, this is 2/3 D, diba? Muna sila ang mga coefficient A, sa A, B, C, and D. Ito sa last row, so good. That is negative 2/3 D equals negative 20 over 3. Ano Negative 2/3 D equals negative 20 over 3. So, with that lang, we can already solve for D, which is D is equals to 10. Then we can move to row 3. Dirita. So that is negative 10C minus 25 over 3D equals negative 220 over 3. So muna siya, negative 10C minus 25 over 3D, which we have the value na sa D, 10, equals negative 220 over 3. So we can solve for C. C is negative 1. Then, let's move to the second row. Let's see, So, that is negative 18B minus 24C, which we have solved the negative 1, minus 26D, which is 10, equals negative 200. We can solve for B. B is negative 2. And lastly, from the first row, that is just A plus B plus C plus D equals 8. So we have the values of B, C, and D. We can solve for A. A is 1. Okay. So just with that, we can already solve for the values of A, B, C, and D. Okay. Sige, no questions? So we can proceed. So the algorithm presented below is useful in solving a system of linear equations using the Gauss Jordan elimination method. Note that A RC, row, then column. So that's the example. You have A1, 2, A2, 2, A3, 2, etc. Will be used as the variable pertaining to an element in the matrix as in figure 6.1. So kasabot naman na element in row 1, column 2. Ano. So you have here first start, second create augmented matrix of the system of linear equations. So third choose first row as pivot equation. Choose A11 as pivot coefficient. Divide R1 by A11. Eliminate all terms below A11 by the following operations on each row. So you have here R2 minus M2 times R1 equals your R2 new. So, same form or same lang sa ganiha atong gibuhat. So, the element in the row 2 minus your M2, atong gamito na to sa row 2 nga M, times the element in the row 1. So, that's the new element sa row 2. And then R3 minus M3 times R1 equals R3 new. So that's the element in row 3 minus M3. So M nga gamitin na to sa row 3 times the element in row 1 equals, that's our new element in row 3. Until pila na siya ka column. So Rn minus Mn times R1 equals Rn new. Then choose second row as pivot equation. Choose A22 as pivot coefficient. Divide R2 by A22. Eliminate all terms above and below A22 by the operations shown in step 5. Choose nth row as pivot equation. Choose ANN as pivot coefficient. Eliminate all terms above and below ANN. Repeat steps 8 to 9 until the last row has been normalized and end. So we have here an example. So snips from the Excel. Okay, but before we move to the Excel, so since this is just the same with what you're going to do with your activity, so let's have first or read first the activity. So you have activity 3F, Gauss Jordan elimination method. Use Gauss Jordan elimination method to solve five unknown values of systems of linear equations using any programming tool. So you are going to use gihapon the same equations, the five equations with five unknowns nga inyong gigamit from your activity 1F and also your activity 2F. So you will see the difference and you will find that your answers, their variables, the values are just going to be the same using those three methods. Okay, so just use the same equations na inyong nahimo o yung gigamit sa activity 1F, 2F, and 3F. Okay, so let's proceed to Excel. So you have there the screenshot from the Excel. Okay, but I will show the process in the Excel. Okay, so we have here the Excel. So you have your augmented matrix from your equations, from your five equations, five unknowns, di ba? So first, we are going to normalize the first row. So para mahimong 1 ning first element, first row. So what you will do, pareha sa algorithm, we are going to divide the elements in the first row by A11. So that's 3. So I will do it again here. So we are going to divide the elements in row 1 divided by the element on A11. So para pwede rin ako i-drag pakilid and then ma-divide na silang tanan with this element. I will just put a dollar sign sa akong i-divide. So dollar kani nga cell. So this is in cell B6. So taon og dollar sign B and then another dollar sign 6. Okay. So that's the first element. That's just 3 divided by 3. Then pwede rin na ako i-drag for the other element. So, 5 man is sila. 2, 3, 4, 5, and including the constants. So, they are all divided by the first element. So, if we're going to check, siya, and the third, fourth element on the first row, and the fifth element on the first row. Yeah, and including this. Okay? Yeah. So divide them with the first or the A11. Then the second to fifth row, you can just copy them. Pwede rin mo i-copy sila. Copy. Okay, pwede rin nga na. Then i-delete na ni kay wala di siya ilabot. Okay? So, okay, we have normalized the first row. Then we are going to eliminate the first column kanang below sa 1. So the first for the first row we can just copy. Nothing will happen to the first row. Okay, pwede na to i-copy ang first row. Then we'll start with the second row. So for the second row, so that's the element here, the first element in the second row. Minus, so nga to ang M dire for the second row is kaning siya, kaning 3, which is in or the element in A21. So kaning siya. And this is in cell, for this example in my Excel, it is in cell J15. And since mo man na ito ang gamiton nga M for the rest of the element in the second row. So again, just like what I did ganiha, let's put a dollar sign. So mo siya magamit na cell sa tanan. So let's in J15. And then multiply, this is the formula times sa row 1. Okay. Corresponding or sa babaw niya sa row 1. Okay, so 0 na siya. And I can just drag for the other sa row 2. Okay, so muna siya. So what happened? So dili mag-move ng ato ang kaning G-minus. That's the element in A21. Okay, so di na siya mag-move while the other values na itong gamiton, move siya. Okay, so let's proceed to row 3. So for row 3, so the element in A31, so the first element, minus, so our M for row 3 is the element in A31. So kani siya. So let's in cell J16. So let's put the dollar sign in J16 times the element in row 1. Okay. So 0 na siya. And then I can drag for the rest of the row. Okay. So mao ni siya sa row 3. Ay, wait. Anong naaman? Wait lang. Alin ako dapat nag-press sa previous. Nata. So, kanita ha dire magamit ta sa mga values dire nga matrix. So, this is what happened to row 3. Okay, that's for row 3. And now let's move to row 4. So, the first element in row 4 minus, so our M for row 4 is the first element in row 4. So that is in cell J17 for this one. So tatong dollar sign J17 times the row 1. Okay, then continue for the row 4. Okay, so this is for the row 4. And that's for row 4. Then row 5. So for row 5, first element minus, or M for row 5 is this element in A51. So that is in J18 times row 1. Okay, so the other elements. So this is for row 5. Okay, that's for row 5. And then, so muna siya. Then we are going to normalize row 2. So normalize na po ang row 2. So to normalize row 2, okay, so let's copy first row 1. Row 1 will just be the same sa previous. Okay. Then, the first element in row 1, nag-0 na siya. So, So that will just be the same 0. Okay, so to normalize this in row 2, so i-divide na to silang tanan with this element in A22. So that's negative 2 in cell K23 for this Excel. So it's equals to, so the element in the corresponding row divided by the element in A22. So that's in K $sign. That's in K23. Okay, so na 1 na siya. Then the rest of the row. So they are divided by the element in A22. Okay, manilabot. So they are divided. Okay. Then the other row below, so they will just be the same. Pwede ra nimo i-copy from the previous. They're just the same. Okay. Then, so we are going to eliminate na sad those values above and below A22. So, dapat mag-0 sila. Okay. So, the first column, so they are already eliminated and normalized. So, the same na siya for the first column. And also, the second row, you can just copy that. Okay, that's for the second row. So let's start with the first row. There is a 1. So that is the element in that corresponding cell sad. So minus, so our M for this row is kani. Kanina po siya itong M. So that is the 812. So this is in cell K30. So K30 times row 2 na punta. So in row 2. Okay. So 0 na siya. You can drag for the rest. So, na. Okay. Then let's proceed to row 3. So the element in row 3 minus our M for this is kanila sad element in A32. So that's in cell K32. K32 times row 2. Okay. And the other element for row 3. Okay. Okay. Then row 4. So the corresponding element in row 4 minus our M for row 4 is, so this is A42 in cell K33. So K33 times the row 2. Okay. So we put to row 4. Okay. Then row 5 napunta. The element in row 5 minus our M for row 5, which is this element in 852. So that's in cell K44. And then times the row 2. Okay. So we have eliminated the values above and below the cell A22. So then 0 na sila. So let us proceed to normalize na po the third row. So normalize the third row. So the other row, you can just copy them. The first, second to the fourth and fifth row. So yes, na i-copy. Also the first and second column since na-eliminate na sila. So let's start with this in 833. So to normalize them, the element in row 3, so we're going to divide them by the element in 833. So this is the 833. So that's in L40. L40. Okay, so para mag-1 siya. And all the other element in row 3, divide that with the cell 833. Okay. Then the other in row 4 and 5, you can just copy them. Okay. So let's proceed to eliminate column 3. So those elements above and below A33, so dapat mag-0 sila. So the first two rows, you can just copy them since nahuman na sila o eliminate. You can copy the first two columns. And then also the third row. Kay mao man na siya to ang normalize nga row. So let's start here at A13. So the element in A13 minus, matuan na pong M for this one is the element in A13. So that is in cell L46 times row 3 na punta. Okay, so the rest of the row. This is what you'll do. Okay. Then the second row, so the element here minus our M for the second row is the element in A23. So that is in cell L47 times row 3. Okay. So fourth row, so the element in corresponding fourth row minus our M here is, so this element in A43. So it's in cell L46, 49 times the row 3. Okay. So last row, fifth row, so the element in A53 minus our M here is the same element in A53. So that is in cell L50 times row 3 and the rest of the row. Okay, so we have eliminate column. So let's proceed to normalize row 4. Okay, so let's normalize row 4. So the others, you can just copy the other element in row 1, 2, 3, as well as the elements in kaya 0 naman sila. So we can copy them. We can start here in A4, 4. So divide all element in row 4 with the value in or the element in A4, 4. So divide na to siya with A4, 4. That's in cell M57. Okay, so no 1 siya. And as well as for the rest of the row. And you can copy also row 5. Dali dito na to ni kay wala siya labot. Okay, so we have normalized row 4. So then we can proceed to eliminate column 4. So eliminate those values above and below A44. Okay, so the first 3 columns, you can copy them since they are already normalized and eliminated. So also row 4, you can copy row 4. Let's start with row 1. So the corresponding element minus our M na pod is the value in A14. So that is in cell M62 times row 4. Row 4 na ta. And the other, so third row, second row, then minus our M here in A24. So it's in cell M63 times row 4. And then row 3, so this value in row 3 minus our M here is in cell A34, which is, our A34 in cell M64 times row 4. Okay. And last row 5, so the element in row 5 minus, so our M here is in 54, in A54, which is M66 times row 4. Okay. Then we have already eliminate row 4. And last na, you're going to normalize row 5. So you can copy the other elements from the previous matrix. Okay. Then sa row 5 ta. So we're going to divide all elements in row 5 with the element in A55. So we can start here, 0 naman ang previous. So this one, divide that with the element in A55. So that's in cell N74. You know, wanna see, ha? And the rest of the row. Okay. So lastly, we are going to eliminate values in column 5. So above A55. Okay, we can copy the first 4 columns. Okay, yun ang first 4 columns. Okay, you can also copy row 5. So let's start with row 1. So it's the element in row 1 minus our M is this element in A15. So that is in cell N78 times row 5. Then row 2. So the element here, last element minus for M here is the A25. So that is in cell N79 times row 5. Okay, then row 3, element in row 3 minus the element in A35. So that is cell N80 times row 5. And lastly, in row 4. So the elements in row 4 minus our M, which is in the element in A45 in cell N81 times row 5. Okay. So after that, so na-diagonal na itong 1 and then the other elements are now 0. So these numbers na nabilin dire, that is your values of your variables. So if I have used VW, X, Y, and Z, so these are the values of corresponding values of VW, X, Y, and Z. So katong first nimo nga variable, then your second, your third, fourth, and fifth. Okay, so those are the values. So sakto siya from what I have prepared. So those are the values. Okay, so those are the V, W, X, Y, and Z. So that is equals to what is the result here. Okay, so those are your answer. Okay, so you have that. So, Laura, no question for this. So that's our third topic for matrix. So I will have your activity uploaded for this topic. And then next week, so next week we are going to have our quiz na on Math 5 for the 3 topics that we have discussed. Ha?
Tunig Monday atong quiz, ma'am.
Oh, sige, ning Monday or Sabado.
Wow.
Pwede ra pod og Thursday, but
Kaya
we need to find
pwede Thursday, ma'am, kay mag-quiz pud mi sa Strack manggod sa Monday, ma'am.
oh, sige, Thursday.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yan, ngita tag room.
Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
for this, sa itong quiz na, no need to print tables, just the normal bond paper folded lengthwise. So, normal lang katong long bond paper, yeah, fold lengthwise. It's our quiz.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sige, sige. So, Thursday ta, 6:30 to 8:30 next week. Okay. So, if there are no more questions or concern, so please turn on your camera.
Ara, ara.
Okay. Turn on everyone. Please turn on your cameras. Okay.
Dirk, saan ara? Dirk.
I will take a screenshot. One, two,
Uy, asa si Ara?
three. Another one, two, three. Okay.
Okay.